Hi, on this video you will see how to do a tri-stage with URKIMIX system. So first of all, we need to clean the parts really well by blowing air on the piece. Remove all the dust and dirtiness that you can have on the piece. Really important to go behind the part. Make sure there is no mud stuck or anything that can fall off while cleaning. We will clean with the SD710 solvent base final wash / degreaser. So apply on the piece. Soak your rag with a lot of SD710. You need to keep the piece clean. Need to keep the piece wet when you're cleaning. So it's the technique: apply and dry. Wipe on, wipe off. So wipe on with that soaked rag. Take a new rag, dry, and dry it up. Flip over your rag, as you can see. Make sure the parts is completely clean. So now the part is completely dry and clean. So we will take the air blower. We'll blow a little bit of air on the part, passing your clean hands on the part. Make sure there is no lint or no dust, no trash on the part. Now we're gonna apply the BESA wet sealer. This sealer is wet on wet sealer, direct to metal, aluminum, and galvanized. All the time, always adjust your gun before you start application. If your gun is not well adjusted, the atomization is not good, the result is not going to be good. So always pass your tack rag in between each coat before you apply any products. By blowing a little bit of the air, you see I'm using my spray gun with a low pressure, blow a little bit of air on the part, so all the dust that can stay on get removed. So now we will apply the BESA wet sealer. Always trim first, everywhere where it's harder to put paint on the back, everywhere, because you want to keep the most important surface at the end, because that's where you really need to have a nice finish. So you will apply a nice wet coat on the part. You will see after only one coat, the part will be completely covered. You don't need a thick layer of the BESA wet sealer. You only need to have a really smooth surface. Why don't you need thick of the sealer? Because the sealer is used only to have a homogeneous surface. It is not used for protection or anything. It's going to give you the adhesion that you need on steel or aluminum, but it's not to give you protection as the primer is. So now that sealer is applied, we'll let it flash for 20 minutes before we start applying the base coat. We will use the base coat URKIMIX Series 500. So first of all, we're going to start with a white solid base coat. So blow the air on the part, use a tack rag to remove all the dust or dirt that can remain on the surface. Now I will start, as earlier with the sealer, I will adjust my spray gun. That's the most important part. If your spray gun is not well adjusted, the result, it's not going to be as good. So I will start with my corners. And the first layer has to be applied on a light layer. Why the first layer you want it light? The reason is if you apply too thick as on the first layer, it will attack the old finishes. So that's when you can see hollow and like sinkage and stuff like that. So by applying a nice medium light layer first, it will eliminate the risk of swallowing and stuff like that. So after the first coat, wait 10-minute flash. Then again, we will go with a little bit of air, blow on the part, and pass the tack rag on the part completely to remove all the dust remaining and the overspray. So now this is a coverage coat. You will use the second layer as for coverage. So this layer you want to apply it wet. You want to finish coverage your part, and you don't want to create any roughness. So you want to apply it wet, and so it will give you like a really homogeneous finish, and it will give you coverage. So now that will be the last coat. So we'll let it flash 15 minutes. But before we start applying the mid coat, the pearl, close the light and take your sun lamp and verify if your part is completely covered. It's time to put a third coat on it if needed. Uh, After the pearl, you won't be able to put like a coat of the solid white. So now pearl again. Blow a little bit of air on the parts. Go with your tack rag on all the surface. Remove all the remaining dust and overspray. What are we doing first? We're gonna do the corners. So now, a coat of pearl, you want to apply that even as possible. Overlap, 90% overlap. And you want to apply like a semi-wet coat. You don't want to apply too dry, create a roughness, and you don't want to apply too wet neither. So like the metallic can sink. First coat done. After the first coat, I'm gonna look with the spray out card that I did earlier with 3 steps. 1 coat, 2 coat, and 3 coats. I'm gonna look if I achieve my color, because we all know pearl color will change. More coat that you will put on, darker it's gonna get. So I'm looking at my chip, and I need another coat. So I wait 5-minute flash. Again, go with my tack rag. A little bit of air blowing from my spray gun. We'll apply the second coat of the pearl. Second coat of the pearl is done. So now I will use my spray out card to see if I achieve my color, if I achieve the color of the pearl. Looking at it. So yes, I can say that I achieved my color. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go close the lights. By closing the lights, it will looking with your sun lamp, it will give you the real effect of the natural sun. The light in a paint booth, it's not really good. It won't give you the real effect. So if you have any blotchiness or if you're not 100% covered, you will see it. It's time to do it now. It's when it's time to clear, it's not time. So you wait 20-minute flash before applying the clear coat. We will apply the 2-to-1 clear coat BESA Glass MS 753 or 759, depending, or if you're in a VOC compliant region or you're using national rule products. A little bit past the tack rag. First thing to do is corners. I apply my first coat. I want to apply the first coat medium wet. You don't want it too wet because you have a risk of trapping solvent. So you want to do just a medium wet coat. You don't want something dry neither. You want something glossy, but not overcharged. We're done for the first coat. So we will let it flash for 15 minutes. So we'll come back and put the second coat on. Now the second coat, you want the second layers to be wet. You want to apply it as it will look. Obviously, it will look a little bit orange peel. It's a high solid clear coat. You don't have to worry. It will levels out for the next 15 minutes. But still, to be able to level out, you want to apply a wet coat. That's what it will give you your protection. You need 2 mils dry to get a good UV protection. Everything looks good. So now it's just let it dry and then install the part and deliver. Thank you. Have a good day.